everybody. Here's the first of the online classes that I promised you. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for being so understanding about the troubles and all the nice wishes of everyone sent in nice emails saying get well soon and all. I know I didn't reply to everybody. I tried, but I know I've missed some of you, and just thank you so much for all the warm feelings. So we are continuing with this. There's no end in sight in this. Things are progressing, but it's going to be a while. So certainly through our exam. So let's talk about the exam, because you have an exam coming up, and let's do that. So let's see. Here we go. So talking about our exam, no new information about this, but let me go over it just so that you're, to remind you. First of all, actually, no, I said no new information, but here we go, new information. I said I was going to do extra office hours on Tuesday and Thursday. That's not going to be possible, so I've moved them to Monday and Wednesday. I know some of you guys only come in on Tuesday and Thursday, so this is not ideal. If that's you and you want to meet, please let me know, and we'll set something up either probably on Zoom, to be realistic, but we'll set something up so that you can avail of yourself of this as well. So there's a time. Monday and Wednesday mornings. I'll be in my office. D202, 203, up right next to the economics office. I'm right next door to the economics office. Okay. During the health crisis, this is not new news. You got an email about this, but remind you, we won't have in-person class. We'll have class on Tuesday and Thursday, but it will be at 10 p.m. on Zoom. And the link will be on Brightspace, right? You can go to the Brightspace to get the link. And right before class, I'll email everyone just to make sure everyone has the link. Hopefully it'll be clear when you go into Brightspace, but we will see. It's been a while, right? COVID was a while ago, so it's hard to remember how all these links work, but we'll get you a link. I'll certainly send you an email right before class so that you'll be able to join in. But if you can't join in, I will record them and I'll post them right after class so that you can see them when you can, because I know some people are working and whatnot. So, all right. So the exam, as you know, is Monday, October 21st. No new news there. That's a week from Monday, right? It's 7 to 8, roughly an hour. Probably most people will be done before then, but you won't be kicked out if you want to go longer. You have infinite time. Though a few people will stay longer, right? And that's absolutely fine. But most people will be done in an hour, just so you can plan your transportation. It is, of course, in the Black Rock Exam Center, and the Black Rock Exam Center is way the heck off, right? In Black Rock. So allow yourself some time to get there. You can do the Google Maps link. It'll take you right there. Just type in Black Rock Exam Center, and it shows up as the first. The first thing that says Black Rock Exam Center. It's a big barn of a place if you haven't been. I guess most of you, I don't know whether you've been or not, but it's, apparently the MBA guys got that going on. I don't know why they need such a big room, but it's the biggest room in campus for these things. Okay. It's MCQ, as you know. It is 15 questions with no negative marking. So you should guess. If you don't know, you should guess. And I have posted on Brightspace old exam questions. The ones from last year are more relevant to this year than previously, because previously we did a lot more with GDP than we have been this year, right? This year we only did the expenditure method, but we know there's 3 methods, right? Because there's 3 ways to think about any sandwich. You've got the sandwich itself, you got the money that people spent on the sandwich, and you got the income people got from the sandwich, from selling the sandwich. So all 3 of those are ways that you can think about any item that's produced in the economy. So there's 3 ways that you can measure GDP. Before we talked about, previous years, we've talked about more than one of those. But this year we've just talked about the expenditure method. And that was the same as last year. Right? We're doing that to make more room for other stuff later on in the class, right? There's infinite amount of stuff to learn. You have to pick and choose. And that's the choice I made this year and last year. Okay? But old exams are not irrelevant. You just have to be a little more cautious picking through that not all of the stuff is going to be relevant to you. Okay. All right. And there'll be no class on exam. Well, that's kind of obvious, like that, yeah. I don't know that's left over from when we had real classes, but it'll be a Zoom classes. So yeah, no news there. Okay, so the content is what we've covered up until the health crisis, right? And so that is gross domestic product, understanding it, what it means, what it doesn't mean, all of that stuff, and measuring the price level of inflation. That's chapter 17, not all of 17, because again, there's 3 ways and we only did one of them, but chapter 17 and chapter 18 about measuring the price level. Also, you should think about nominal versus real, right? The one thing we didn't do, which won't be on this exam, in that is real versus nominal interest rate. I started doing it, and then I thought better of it. This year we'll put it with the money section. I think it goes better there. So don't worry about that for this exam, but the rest. So you should be able to, like, if Mary's real wages, if Mary's nominal wage is 100, but the price level goes up, what happens to a real wage? You should be able to figure things like that. Right? Remember the CPI, you can think of it as just the price of a basket of goods, right? And so you divide by the price, that gives you many baskets of goods that you could buy. Okay, so that's the subject. It's more limited than last year because, again, health crisis, and I didn't want to force you to be preparing from these online classes without the chance to really talk to me. Like, things are in flux, and so, that seemed a bit much to ask. So there's a much more limited set of things that I can ask this year than I have in the past, because before we had 2 to 3 extra weeks of class on the testable material, right? So it doesn't go into theory, for example. We're doing the Keynesian model now, but that's not on this exam. We'll be on the final for sure, but for sure, like, you can count on it, but it's not on this exam. Okay. Which means everything I'm going to do today, like in these videos here that I'm doing this week, none of that's on this exam. It will definitely be on the final, but it's not on this exam. Okay. So what to bring when you come to Blackrock Exam Center? You want to bring a pencil. Pencil, not pen, right? Because it's going to be on those little scan form sheets, and you're going to want to, the machines won't read pen. Like, they'll read it wrong, and you'll get bad grades, and then you'll have to go through. And like, it'll be like, we'll fix it, but it's better to have a pencil. Have a pencil. Just have a pencil, and all your problems are solved. Well, maybe not all your problems. But anyway, an eraser, obviously, a rubber for those of you who didn't grow up in the U.S. A calculator, I suppose. Like, people want calculators. It's kind of like a teddy bear. It gives you a warm, reassured feeling, and you're allowed one, so you can have one. If I was taking the test, I would not use a calculator, but some people are better doing a little bit of division in their, on the side of a paper. Some people bring a calculator, be happy. You won't use it. That's my point. Okay. If you don't have a calculator on the day, you forgot it, don't freak out. You'll be fine. Okay, so if you have questions, again, we don't have regular class, so questions are a little awkward. So you can bring them to the Zoom class, right? Bring your questions to the Zoom class. There's the little you guys were in COVID, you know the deal, right? There's the little thing that you can ask, typing your questions on there. You can speak up too, but my experience, nobody does. I'd love it if you did, but my experience, people don't. But please do, please do. You can speak up and ask a question, or you can type it in the little thing, and I'll prioritize answering people's questions about exam until the exam. So if people have questions, I'm answering those rather than doing new material for the exam. Or if you can't come to the class, which I know, because we've reorganized things, not everybody can, you can email me your question, ivan.pastine@ucd.ie, and have the subject line just say question. And that way I'm less likely to lose it. Like, at the moment, I'm kind of in the hospital the whole time, and it's stressful, and I'm distracted, and so it's easy for me to miss emails these days. I'm never the best at it in the best of times, and so, like, if you say question and that's your subject, before class I will search for those, right, and just say, okay, everything that says question, I'll get that, and hopefully I'll answer your question. And the other thing is if you're asking a question, it would be really, really helpful. Like, a lot of people will if past is any guide, ask questions about old exam questions, which is perfectly fair. You can do that. You can ask the questions broader than that as well, but you're certainly allowed to ask questions about old exam questions. If you do that, please give me a screenshot of the old exam questions or type it out, because otherwise I have to look it up and I'm distracted. Like, I won't do the best job with that. So if you give me the question, that's really a big help. Okay. Anything? I'm sort of waiting for someone to ask questions. You have any questions? But you can't. It's a video. It sucks. Okay. Another thing to mention, because you got to plan your life, the School of Economics has a reading week in week 8. That's just the policy. And so that means that there's no class in week 8. And so there's no class October 29th or 31st. Okay. That's what I got on the exam, but of course, if you have questions about that, email me with the question, with the subject question, and we'll get you in the class. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Stop recording.